Pacific Partnership Agreement. Japan seeks to the early entry into force of the agreement, and he expressed his readiness about this. And RCEP negotiations. Prime Minister Abe said that he would like to seek early conclusion of the high-quality treaty by cooperating closely with the Philippines. And Prime Minister Abe said that he would like to strengthen the defense cooperation with ASEAN, and concerning the financial safety net, he would like to do his utmost for the development of the financial safety net. And South China Sea issue, Prime Minister Abe said that by considering the final judgment of the tribunal court on the issue of the South China Sea, by taking into consideration of the ASEAN-related conferences of this year, he underlined again the importance of the rule of law and the peaceful resolution of the issue. On the issue of North Korea, he emphasized the importance of the rigorous implementation of the series of UN Security Council resolutions, including the most recent one, and concerning the nuclear and missile development by DPRK, which has entered the new stage for the threat of the international security. And in relation to North Korea, Prime Minister Abe said that he would like to cooperate for the early resolution of the issue, so-called the abduction issue of the Japanese citizens, which is the most important issue for the Abe administration. And in response, the President Duterte said that Japan and the Philippines, over the past 6 years, the friendly relations has been enhanced. And he said he would expect that such a relationship will be further strengthened, and the Philippines would support Japan in all the related areas. Okay, thank you for your patience. This is the crux of the meeting. Can I invite questions?
We'll entertain a few questions, 4 or 5. Please, first. Please identify yourself.
Minardo Macaraig, Jones France Press. Sir, can we get some elaboration on that 1 trillion yen? How much of that is ODA? How much of that is private sector? And just how would it come in?
Okay, the 1 trillion yen level of support for the business opportunities creation in the Philippines over the next 5 years, which includes the Japanese official development assistance, so-called ODA, and Japanese private investments. But the ratio of the split between the official ODA and the private investment Well, I cannot say definite terms because this is an estimation for the next 5 years. Then the question may arise that how can we estimate that over the next 5 years at 1 trillion yen? But there's the past trend of the Japanese ODA to the Philippines and Japanese corporations' foreign direct investments into the Philippines, plus other government-related official fund. We call it OOF. So those three figures in the past, and then created the possible target for the next 5 years. The crux, the bottom line of this announcement is that Japan is very eager to promote cooperation for the business and the economic development of the Philippines by utilizing all those available resources. And but at the same time, Prime Minister also underlined the importance that this is a two-way street. It is not just one way of inflow of the investments of money from Japan. But for a very effective and comprehensive development of the Philippine economy, I'd like to emphasize that the business and investment-friendly environment on the side of the Philippines is also necessary. So we very much appreciate if the Philippine and the official and the private sectors of the understand this point and cooperate with us. And then towards that goal, as I said before, today we have agreed to establish the joint committee on the economic cooperation and infrastructure development. The top figure of this committee was already named from the Japanese side. We're expecting that the counterpart, the announcement from the Philippine side, from the next in the near future, and then we make a joint efforts towards that goal. Yes.
I mean, 1 trillion yen, I think that's about $8.76 billion. Can you give us a comparative figure for, say, the previous 5 years of ODA and private investment? I mean, you said the trend is towards 1 trillion, but is there something indicating that?
Well, actually, sometimes the figures of each respective year fluctuates. If you take the ODA, for example, depending on the conditions of the economy of the Philippines and conditions of the natural disasters and so on. So I'll give you the overall figures of the past years. Japan has thus far have provided the ODA of approximately $20 billion to the Philippines. And the Philippines is the most important partner for its economic development. And to the Philippines, from the Philippines side. Sorry?
20 billion
over the...
how many years?
Okay, let me check with the start of the ODA. Maybe over the past 50, close to 50 years. I'll give you the most, the figure.
Next question.
For the Philippines, Japan has been the absolutely top donor, as you know. The over 50% of the corporations that the Philippines received is from Japan.
Thank you. Next question, please. Please identify.
Good evening. My name is Cliff Benson from Nikkei. Do we know who are the companies involved on the private sector part of the
for the 1 trillion?
Yes, and so and in what kind of investments are they looking at? these companies? And then my second question is, can you give us an idea on about what happened during the expanded meeting with Japan and the Philippine business delegates, and like how it was facilitated? Was it a consultation, and what did the parties say during that session?
First of all, your last question, the business related part, I'll come back to you later because I couldn't attend it. So, and which companies? Your first question. At this moment, the list of those companies are not known. So it's up to the private sector's initiatives and engagement. So the role of the government is to create the environment friendly for the investment and the business activities.
What kind of projects? What kind of projects are we looking at this point?
Well, from now on, we first of all established the committee, joint committee with the Philippines, and then we'll consider in which areas and what items and which capacity. Yeah. So, for example, the ODA based on the necessity-based ODA. We will estimate targeting the Philippine nation. So we will elaborate its respective demand for ODA first of all, and then infrastructure development through the PPP provision, and the other important economic cooperation matters. We will decide it accordingly. And so in this committee, we first of all, we have to decide the formation of the committee membership, and the frequency of the meeting and the schedules and so on. And then we'll consult such demand for the ODA and in the infrastructure development estimations and evaluations and economic development policies and so on.
Then the composition of the committee will it be a public and private individuals, or if on the government side, at what level is the involvement?
Well, I think that for the further details will be decided later. But as far as the Japanese side is concerned, the top of the committee is already named, Mr. Izumi. He is the senior advisor to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next question, please, the gentleman.
Good evening, Kawamura-san. I'm Rondon Kalunset from Kyodo News, Manila office. Just two questions. I'll shoot them now. In his remarks, Prime Minister Abe said, we also had a frank exchange of views on the regional landscape and agreed to elevate cooperative relations. I just want to know if there was a mention of U.S.-Philippines alliance or relations, or the importance of the U.S. In the region. And my second question, sir, just on the lighter note, has it been confirmed that Prime Minister Abe will share breakfast with President Duterte at his residence tomorrow in Davao? Thank you, sir.
Okay, for the question of the U.S., the reference to the alliance of the U.S. Today, in today's meeting, they didn't talk about such an issue. And tomorrow, Well, in the tomorrow, they're expected to discuss the more international issues, including the regional ones.
Next question, please.
I hope that I'll have a chance to come back to you for further details of the tomorrow's. Yes. Oh, I cannot say whether this is going to be a breakfast or other format. But anyway,
Mr.
Yes,
the
good
gentleman
evening,
and then the lady.
Good
Last
evening,
two
sir.
questions.
Good evening, sir. Seth Bicasil from GMA7, sir. Sir, under a relatively new Duterte administration, what is now Japan's role, if any, on the attempts to improve ties between the Philippines and the U.S., sir, if any?
sorry, the first part of your question is about Japan's role to bridge.
Yes, sir. It's just one question, sir.
The Philippines and
If
the
there is
United
any,
States.
what is Japan's role, if any, on the attempts to improve relations between U.S. and the Philippines, sir?
Well, you may recall the first meeting between Mr. Duterte and Mr. Abe in Tokyo. Not first meeting, sorry. The meeting in Tokyo last time. Japan had an opportunity to explain that how what we think about the value of the Japan-U.S. relations, so the American presence in the Asia. Well, Japan's fundamental position regarding the Japan-U.S. alliance is that it is the cornerstone of a foreign policy and security policy. And it will provide the security and prosperity and stability in the region, Asia-Pacific region. And this position will see no change. Whoever becomes the next president, although Mr. Trump is going to be assumed the presidency in the United States. So I will maintain this position, and we'll continue to work closely with the next U.S. administration so that the region, the Asia-Pacific region, be secure and prosperous.
Just a follow-up, sir. How does Japan view the seeming pivot to China of the Philippines, sir?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
What is Japan's stake, or what is Japan's view on the pivot of the Philippines towards China?
If the question is about the Filipino-China relationship,
Yes.
well, basically we should refrain from making comment on the third country to third country relations. My briefing here is about the today's summit meeting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Next
should
question,
stop.
please. The lady.
Hello, sir. My name is Zen Hernandez from ABS-CBN. Just a little bit related to that. I'm not sure if you know if Prime Minister Abe or Japan is open to joining multilateral talks with the Philippines and China with regard to the South China Sea issue.
is there security talks, you mean?
Multilateral talks with regard to the South China Sea issue.
Okay, if you
Territorial
mean
dispute.
those talks is about the ASEAN and ASEAN-led discussion on the issue of the South China Sea. If I recall the previous ASEAN-related meetings, they discussed this, the China, ASEAN will discuss the South China Sea issues. But Japanese stance on particular issue then was that if such a dialogue and consultation on the issue of South China Sea is to be conducted by the ASEAN and China, it should be. We expect that such a dialogue and consultation will be carried out under the condition of the non-militarization of the region, I mean the South China Sea, and also countries seek the peaceful resolution of the dispute. So under those two terms, Japan will be Japan will expect that such a talks should be conducted between the ASEAN and China. That's what we said in the previous round of ASEAN summit meeting in Laos, if
All right.
my memory is correct.
Thank you.
And just take the opportunity of this moment. When we started the ODA to the Philippines, the answer is 1954. So this year is the 63rd year of the Japanese ODA.
Last question.
I'm Tor Morinaga from Manila Shimbun. Kamura Hodoka, I'd like to ask you the two leaders talks about the problems of recovering remains of Japanese soldiers and the recovering koseki of Japanese Filipino today.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, they didn't discuss this issue. But can I get back to you later?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
After the whole meetings, after the whole series of meetings
Yes.
is over.
Thank you.
I'll check and come back to you. Can I have your business card later?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, just to cover for that, one last question.
Hi, sir. I'm Andrew Alonso from Bloomberg. Sir, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan has already confirmed that Prime Minister Abe is visiting President Duterte's home in Davao City. So what does this say of the relationship between the two leaders? And how often does the Prime Minister do this, personally visit the home of a fellow leader?
It's a good question. I cannot count all those numbers in total manner because he visited so many countries so far. As for the tomorrow's visit to Davao, where Mr. Duterte is from, he is looking forward very much to visiting the hometown of the Mr. Duterte. Well, judging from the previous meeting in Tokyo, when Mr. Duterte came to meet, Mr. Duterte said, he said that the Japan and the Philippines are not simply friends, but we are more than that. We are more than brothers, brothership. So this represents how our two countries are close in terms of the spiritual mental relations. This is a eloquent reflection of the existing confidence, trust between the two leaders.
On that note, we'd like to thank you, Malacanang Press Corps and Foreign Correspondents. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.